Hi everybody, this is a light language transmission and reading. It's carrying on from the twin flame reading yesterday, where we had a huge heart activation and expansion, an alignment between heaven and earth, as we receive our divine love from the divine source, connected to Mother Earth, the nourishment of Mother Earth, the real grounding, stability of Mother Earth, and the balance and justice of the divine. So I'm also getting the Divine Father and the Earth Mother, which is just coming in now. I've had the codes pouring in all morning. So the Justice card had come out last night. I've been sitting in the portal, and then this morning I've been feeling the releases and the codes pouring in here. The focus seems to be about balance and stability between the masculine and the feminine, the heaven and the earth, the sun and the moon. It's about the ending of cycles, the ending of karmic cycles, but also the end of a cycle is the destruction of what's been created, making space for the creation of what's to come. So I've been feeling that in very physical ways, in terms of, so the symbols of that, the metaphors of that have come up for me this morning, at the same time as the underlying sadness and loss and grief that are being transmuted by this heart expansion, this heart activation, is via our connection to Mother Earth and the divine, is that I've been nurturing some beautiful peonies, and particularly one in a vase, and the peony has come to the end of its beautiful flower display and started dropping its petals, and there's also a peony activation which I will, I've got a couple peony activations which I will put down below. I've started another channel and it is about flowers and divas and angels and planting seeds and growing them with energy and intuition and channeling light codes in for that. So I'll link those videos below. Some of them are on my other channel. But the activation for the peony was about bringing in the seeds of creation. And this can be in the forms of your dreams and desires, something that becomes manifest in the physical, that you've brought love and attention into. But it also can be a child, like a pregnancy, a conception. So with this peony reaching its full beauty and expansion this morning, I took a photo of that, and within minutes it started dropping its petals. It had reached its full cycle, its completion. And then I decided to make peony water, because that peony's had a lot of energy and connection with it through the transmissions. So I decided to collect the petals and make peony water. And then I will use that to spray around the house. I will also use it to put in baths or to drink. You can make sauce out of it. You can make peony ice cream. You can put it in smoothies. There's all sorts of things. But I have collected them in a little bowl that symbolically, it has little angel wings on it, and it's a soft pastel greeny colour, and to me it represents the incoming souls or the conception of a new child. So it's before the pregnancy, it's between the idea and before the pregnancy. So that's one of the ways that I'm seeing the energies from this card and this heart expansion play out, is accepting and loving the cycles of life, the cycles of nature, including the destructive phase, including the destruction of the beauty that has had its role already. Another way I've seen this is that my cat brought home a mouse, and I woke up with it on the floor next to my bed, having completed its life, and I always find that very difficult. So that's something for me to work through. So that was triggered some sadness as well. That's the end of a cycle of life, and I honoured that life of that little mouse by burying it. So this is very much about completing cycles, the balance of nature, the cycles of nature, the heart expansion, and moving into new creations that come from the beauty of what has completed its cycle. You can relate this to anything you're doing in your life, but you can also relate this to relationships. The activation yesterday was a twin flame reading. So this is also very related to the twin flames. It's the masculine and feminine coming into balance within self and then connecting to each other. So I would like to read the meanings. They're short, but they're very profound meanings. This is from the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reid. And interestingly, as I quickly read through them in preparation for this reading, I thought, how can I just keep the pages so I can flick to them quickly to read them out, because I definitely want to read them out. And see this Justice, she's got the sword in one hand, and she's got a ribbon, a golden ribbon wrapped around her waist, and it's falling down softly in a curved kind of, it's not dropping straight, it's dropping curved. To me, I can see that as, and she's got scales in the other hand. To me, I see that as a tape measure. So it showed up as a tape measure, but I only noticed that after I'd used the tape measure to mark my pages. So it's very much, this is very much about review and measure and decisions on moving forward, and how to clear and accept and love and honour and have gratitude for what you're moving away from, or what is moving away from you. So basically these two cards, these are the energies coming in. So I will read those first, and then the ones at the base, these are physical reality, what we're seeing in physical reality, the process in physical reality in our 3D life. So these are the antidotes coming in, and these are what is being shifted through and transformed. And then the outcome or the guidance at the top, this is the guidance from the divine, is that meditation brings answers. So I'm going to read the cards now, and then give you a little bit more clarity and pull it all together. And then we're going to do a light language activation to help you receive and move through these energies, to harness them in your own life and your own personal situation. So I'm going to start with the Justice. Number 11 card, Justice, Karma. The law of cause and effect is in play now, and I see elements in my life balance out. What goes around comes around. I'm now seeing evidence of this law in the conditions of my world. Let me give you an example from my own life. I have been suffering for 2.5 years having just bought a house, which I adore, so perfect in so many ways, with faulty floorboards in the flat above. And it has been more torture than anyone can imagine for a sensitive soul, sensitive empathic soul, and has been something that's been impossible to get fixed. Ghosted by the owner above, who doesn't live above but has tenants in. The agency won't answer me or listen to me, and the council, who has jurisdiction over it, did not reply for years. Finally, after trying to sell the house, after trying to rent it out, after getting to the point of taking legal action. Justice also represents legal action, and reaching breaking point several times. The work is going to be done tomorrow. And so I have woken up this morning feeling the fear that that cycle is not going to end, and the fear that the repair on the floorboards are not going to fix the problem, and the fear of being stuck in this negative situation that's unbearable. And I believe that's because the scales are balancing. Justice is going to be served. This is the energies coming in. And so what it's clearing out is the fear that it won't, the fear that I'm stuck, the fear that this cycle will never come to an end, the fear that I haven't learnt what my soul needed to learn, or balanced up the karma that I am balancing up by going through this suffering. And it's taken me quite a while to anchor these energies this morning for this reading, as it moves through my physical body and my physical life and my emotions, to get to a point of stability. So for me, this card represents justice, balance coming in, karmic situations being completed, the end to the suffering, but also the grounding of the divine plan and the higher energies, as stability. I see it as stability in the physical planes. Having learned your lessons, having graduated to the next level, standing solidly in that, what you've learnt on all levels of your being from what you've been through. So I'm feeling the energies of that come down through this gold plate behind her. And it's interesting because we have a gold plate under here, which is a portal coming down into these two cards. So I'll read these two cards next, the Ace of Air and the Five of Earth. Excuse me, I'm trying to hold my phone in one hand and open the book in the other. Destiny and fate, the law of karma, powerful forces of transformation at work, synchronicity. Okay, I just want to point out that this Justice card here, she's Lady Justice. She is the same Queen of Swords that we saw in the reading before, yesterday's twin flame reading. Making a decision and everything on the physical planes reorganizing around that, and the transformation beginning, and her holding that intention and that clear decision whilst she watches the transformation occur around her, which can be chaotic, and holding strong understanding that the chaos is the transformation of her environment based on her alignment to the truth and her intention for what she's creating. So the Ace of Air very well fits into this destiny and fate, the law of karma, powerful forces of transformation at work, and synchronicity. So synchronicity is the indication from the divine that, you know, it's happening. It's showing you how it's happening, and it's aligned, that it's showing you that you're aligned to that shift. Meaningful coincidence and forces beyond my human control are operating in my life now for the highest good. Things are happening now with great velocity. I can expect quick results that will lead me forward with excellent information. So this is also indicating that there's no need to fear that you are stuck in anything, in a situation, in a relationship, in a job. It is beyond your physical consciousness. It's happening from a higher level of your being. It's happening from internal shifts that you've made. It's happening from having reached the end of a cycle and graduating to the next level. You're not going to be stuck. They're happening with great velocity. I can expect quick results that will lead me forward with excellent information. So that's one end of the scale, and the other end of the scale that she's got in her hand there, the other way that this is manifesting. Five of Earth, excuse me while I just get that page. Alternative forms of abundance, the illusion of lack, overlooked treasures. All is not as it seems, so this is a time to look again. A change in perception can bring into focus the results I sought, just in a different way from expected. I'm called to move away from poverty consciousness and open my eyes to treasures before me that are suddenly illuminated. The illusion of wealth gives way to true abundance. There is no need to fear that the rug will be pulled out from under me. What we draw attention to grows. So I count my blessings and realize I have far more than I thought. I have come far in my quest for building up what I need, and even more opportunities for experiencing abundance awaits. So let me give you another example. It's been difficult not to focus on the problem with the floorboards because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming my senses all the time. But what it's done is it's pushed me into the garden. And whilst I've been in the garden, I have discovered the delights of the garden. I have really merged with my garden and become one with it, and created so much beauty and connection in my garden. And from that space, I've been fully in the present moment and in joy and divine connection. And with that, it has been the antidote to the effects on my body of the stress and the overwhelm from the noise and vibration coming from above constantly and the lack of sleep. So as I focus on what this problem has delivered to me, in actual fact, it has created the energetic shift within me that then has enabled me to overcome the oppression. And so much about my house and my garden I love. It's perfect for me. I chose well. But I was supposed to have this problem because I needed to be pushed inner. I needed to be oppressed to really go inner and to really find this attunement to nature that I wouldn't have found just going about my normal daily routine. And where we focus is what grows. So it has pushed me to focus on the divine in the physical world. And we've now reached that point where that is big enough and strong enough that it's carrying me to the next level. So, okay, we want to go to the 5 of water now. releasing grief, allowing sadness to rise and fall, forgiveness, the ebb and flow of emotion. So I just want to say that this is a releasing of poverty consciousness. It's letting go of the lack of what's not working, of what we thought was success, what we thought was wealth in the material world, and realizing where the wealth lies in the spiritual journey, in what we gain within ourselves, and how we create from that place. So it's a real balancing out of that, and it's also receiving what's been lacking based on your shifting your focus to what you have, and what you want, rather than what you don't have. And then, so the 5 of water, this is the same principle and theme, but on the more emotional level. So we're letting go of what's lost, what's lacking, what we had, or the potential that we thought we were going to have. I often see this more in relation to relationships. I feel the fullness of my emotion as they wash through me. The ebb and flow are part of life, and I'm present in my feelings today. I fully forgive myself and others and let go of any emotion that were holding me back from acknowledging the truth. I deserve the freedom that comes when I release what is no longer working for me. I make amends to those I may have harmed when emotion was colouring my perception. I surrender my resentments to the divine, knowing they can be transformed into miracles. Fearless inventories lead to liberation. So it's a review of the situation from a higher perspective, and realizing that you were a participant in creating the things that were not working from your lack consciousness, and the lack consciousness is not your fault. It's based on just what you're meant to learn in this life, and how you're meant to evolve, and you're incarnated into different scenarios and families and situations and cultures in order to be molded in that way, in order to have the lack consciousness in those particular ways, in order to learn something, and learn how to overcome it, and learn how to move beyond it. So I feel as much as this one is bringing the codes into these two, like balancing up karma, moving forward, and balancing up poverty and loss consciousness, it's really the scales here. I see 5 as the midpoint in the numerology. It's the point of change. It's the point of shifting and transformation. And I feel that, these scales are basically the 2 5 cards, and the emotional level and the material level. But this 9 of fire, as much as this justice is, the energies are moving down into these two. I feel the 9 of fire, this is the antidote, the energies moving down into these two. So, which are both 5s. And if you put 9 and 11 together, you get 20. And 5 and 5 is 10. So it feels like, those are each end of the scale. So I'm going to read the 9 of fire. Caution, uncertainty, reevaluating circumstances. I need to stop, wait, and look around me before proceeding further. My sense of uncertainty is my inner wisdom telling me to bring illumination to my situation, to allow insights to arise and guide me before I take my next step. Questioning is good. I will look carefully to see if a different path may be right for me at this point. So, as the justice and balance and unity is coming in between the opposing forces, the masculine, the feminine, the good, the bad, the dark, the light, the visible, the hidden, and the truth comes to light. You are getting a sense of caution or uncertainty, which is a message from your intuition that something's not right there. And that's because what is right is becoming converted into a feeling within you, which then exposes what does not feel right. And so this is saying, listen to that. And you can see she has those stars in her hands there, which is the illumination shining on what's hidden and what's not right. So from that point, it drops down into the emotional and the material transformation as she reevaluates and shifts out whatever doesn't feel right. Not just reacting from a patterning though, like not from a fear of, oh, am I going to be stuck here or something like that, and reacting and acting out by getting angry or taking legal action or something like that, but actually feeling into it, reevaluating it from the expanded heart space and going, is this right? I have a feeling it's not. I have a feeling there's something going on here I'm not aware of. Investigating it, running it through your heart, running it through your mind, assessing it from a higher perspective, and then looking at the lessons that were valuable for you in this and releasing what you've learned already. You don't need any more because you've graduated, and letting go of any limiting beliefs such as poverty consciousness or I'm not worthy or I can't have, that are based on old templates that you've graduated from now. And then looking at the synchronicities that come up that show you the way and show you that sword that you've planted in the ground with your clear intention is creating shifts in your reality, and knowing that it's bigger than you. It's come from you graduating from these emotional and material experiences that have taken you to where you are now, and thank them for that. And so the guidance is meditation brings answers, and for me I see this as energy feeding into these two antidotes. So as you deepen into your core and bring yourself into a meditative, contemplative, still present state where you can receive higher guidance and connect to your guides and angels, that brings in the justice, the balance, the higher perspective, which then gives you the insight as to what needs to stay and what needs to go, which then begins the grieving process for that which no longer benefits you, and then moving into the new direction, and trusting that it's happening. And it's happening, that the more you can release and let go of those old beliefs and limitations and situations, the more quickly this can happen for you. So I'm going to just quickly do a bit of light language. I feel like a lot of those codes came through in the explanation, but I'm seeing a line coming down from this light here, this angel, down into the grounding into the earth here. Really feeling this higher plan downloading into your crown, into your base chakra, into your lower spine, sacrum, and coming out your hands and activating your heart, manifesting in the material world, coming into balance in the material world, clearing poverty consciousness, clearing blocks to abundance, and releasing the emotional attachment to anything that has been defining your world. And this ebb and flow of the waves and the currents under the water is connected to the life and death cycles as well, and the life force that we breathe in and out through us energetically, in an ebb and a flow as well. Okay, so I just felt every part of the karmic wheel, every part of the cycle, on all levels, multidimensional levels, all just fill up with divine love. And I'm being told you're going to get the answers now. This antidote brings the answers. So what was hidden, what you didn't see, what didn't feel right, what you didn't know, what wasn't working, you're going to get some clarity around that now as the answers come in. And justice comes in, balance, justice, and the new floods in. Okay. Blessings, everybody. Please, those are very transformative codes. So you might feel a lot of those emotions that we just talked about coming up. Just love them as they come up and allow them to move out. I feel your crowns and third eyes very active and open. Drink a lot of water to help those move through. Take a lot of rest. Listen to your body. Yeah, meditate. Blessings, everybody.